Hi guys and welcome back to the channel and happy Frieren Friday. We are back again with another episode of Frieren. I'm very excited, episode number 3. I'm just really now invested in this series in a very emotional and literal sense. Like I feel like I'm attached to these characters already, attached to the world. I know that it's only been 2 episodes that I've seen so far, but I feel like Madhouse and I feel like the creator of the series have just done a phenomenal job of just drawing me in, and I'm really excited to see where we go next in this next episode, episode number 3. I do have one little theory about, something small. So my guess is that Frieren is kind of retracing her steps right now. That is evident in the fact that she went back to the town. I think it was a town, or maybe it was a little village, where they saved the townspeople, village people, from a dragon, and there was a statue created of Himmel, and Frieren showed up to derust the statue. That's why she went out of her way to get a derust spell. She's come back and all that there. I feel like she's retracing her steps. That's my theory right now. And a theory that I have is that along their travels, they met someone, they came across something, and they required sour grapes for it. And so I think that that spell for sour grapes is maybe going to show up and play a part in something like that, that maybe she didn't have the spell for it back then when they got there as a party when she was with Himmel, but maybe now that she's there with him, with the spell without Himmel, obviously, maybe something new will happen, maybe something will change. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. But here we go, let's start episode number 3. If you guys enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below letting me know what you thought of this episode. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. No more yapping from me. Let's go, episode number 3, Frieren. I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up. I'm not feeling the best today, but I'll do my best to bring my A game here. So yeah, we're just going to dive right into this. I'm just feeling a little under the weather today. I'm still as excited as ever to check out an episode of Frieren. So let's go, episode number 3. I guess for some reason, I don't realize why, but I was getting like really crazy Chainsaw Man opening vibes just this time that I watched this opening. I wasn't getting those vibes before. I think it's to do with the shading and the fluidity and the way that they move within the opening that is kind of reminding me of sequences within the Chainsaw Man opening. But that's besides the point. That's not important whatsoever. We're checking out an episode today, not the opening. 27 years after the death of Himmel the hero in the trade city of Worm, located in the Central Lands. Okay. Beautiful OST as always. Oh, the kitty cat! Cute. Wow, Fern's as tall as Frieren already. Holy shit.
必需品ほぼ私ですよね。食料、水、日用品。他にフリーレン様は何を買うんですか？薬草とかだよ。
Herbs and stuff.
これ、私に何か隠している時の顔だ。
You can't hide anything from Fern.
こういう時はろくなことだ。決まって余計なものを買ってくるんだ。魔法師の本、座学も大事だからね。
Shit.
まあ、あれは余計なものというわけではないけど。
Yeah. My guess is that face of Frieren pulls is kind of like the Anya face. Oh dear, Fern.
無駄遣いできないのに。
Let Frieren rock. Come on. Maybe it's your birthday and she's getting you something nice and you don't know.
あの人、おしゃれとかに興味あったんだ。
I don't think so. I think it's for you.
何その顔。私、フリーレン様のあんな悩んでる顔見たことないんだけど。
Oh, the kitty cat! Aww, it's adorable. Fern has a way with animals. I love that.
ずいぶん時間かかったな。
Because it's very important. It's probably for you, Fern. Now go get the food and water. Come on. Who's to say she's not about to go buy something really bizarre right now?
ここら辺に美味しいスイーツの店ってある？さすがにそれはずるすぎるでしょ。
It's probably for you, Fern.
私だって何ヶ月も甘いもの食べてないのに。
My guess is that it's Fern's birthday or somewhere around the date that they started traveling together or that they met, and Frieren wants to celebrate that. Oh dear, what the?
スイーツの店だ。なめてんのか。
ごくり。
こ
の町にはうまいスイーツが山のようにあるぜ。
Oh dear.
どんな店でも教えてやるよ。あばよ。
Oh, they were nice after all. Good. I'm glad. Kind of didn't go the way I was expecting.
あれこれって宿の方向だ。
And you haven't gone and gotten
戻るつもりかな。
anything yet.
買い出し全然終わってない。遅い。すみませんでした。まあいいや。荷物置いて。たまには甘いものでも食べに行こうか。
See? She just wanted to know so she could take you. You silly girl. You need to learn to trust Frieren. Oh wow, that's a really nice view. Yeah.
おすすめなだけはある。フリーレン様、疑ってすみませんでした。好きなの選んでいいよ。
Aww.
お金は大丈夫なのですか？へそくりがあるからね。
That's so
へそ
sweet.
くりなんてあったんだ。フリーレン様はどれにしますか？そうだね。今日の気分は
What's her choice?
メルクーアプリンですよね。
Merker pudding.
今日の気分
Oh
はメルクーア
no.
プリンだろ
なんでわかるの？
う。何年一緒に旅をしていると思っているんだ。なんとなくわかるさ。
Aw. Wow, the similarities between those
私は
two.
みんなのこと何もわからない。
なら知ってもらえるように頑張るとするかな。ちなみに僕の好物はルフオムレツ。
Rough
俺は
omelet.
ブドウだ。酸っぱい。
Sour grapes!
私は
酒だろ？知ってるぞ、生臭坊主。
Sour grapes are for the
と
dwarf.
ころじゃないだろう。
Now we have the answer to sour grapes.
ごめん。なぜ謝るのですか？私はフェルンのこと何もわからない。だからどんなものが好きなのかわからなくて。
Aw, that's so sweet.
そういえば今日は私の誕生日でしたね。
Shocker! Aw, that's, yeah, okay, I recognize that. And it's got a butterfly.
飾りありがとうございます。とて
Aw.
も嬉しいです。本当にフリーレン様はどうしようもないほどに鈍い方のようなのではっきりと伝えます。あなたが私を知ろうとしてくれたことがたまらなく嬉しいのです。
That's so sweet.
フリーレン様は本当に人の感情が分かっていませんね。
She's never had to learn or try. I can understand. She's what, hundreds of years old? Maybe more? The butterfly is really fitting for the hairpiece because of the magic that she used with
ところでフリ
Hater,
ーレン様、
which, you know, was really a big turning point in Fern's life.
特にないよ。魔法収集の趣味の旅だからね。でもできる限りはヒンメルたちとの冒険の痕跡をたどっていきたいかな。
Yeah, okay, I knew it. I knew that was probably the case.
それ
Aw.
はフリーレン様にとって大切なことなのでございますね。わからない。だから知ろうと思っている。
I love the similarities between Fern and Himmel. Himmel learned a lot about Frieren. Fern's learning a lot about Frieren. You've grown taller, yeah. 16! Episode 3, Killing Magic. Oh dear, 27 years after the death of Himmel the hero in Grobe Forest, located in the Central Lands. I don't know how to pronounce that B. Might not be Grobe. Might be pronounced differently. Oh shit, a duel? A fight to the death? Oh my god, just at Fern? That's crazy. Like, yeah, I know
防御
Fern
魔法も
can
だいぶ慣れてきたね。
handle herself, but that's wild.
じゃあ応用とい
Oh, I like the way that that barrier made it split. That's interesting. Oh shit, what?
防御の隙を狙った。模擬戦じゃなかったら死んでたよ。
Ah, I see.
どう対処する？こうします。そう。耐えられる？
It's like Kingdom Hearts 2, the very end of the game. All the beams, lasers. Well, I'm glad that it's showing that Fern is still learning and that she suddenly isn't like able to do anything and
防御魔法は
everything.
強力だけど、魔力の消費がとても大きい。
Okay, that makes sense.
広範囲の展開を続けたら、 数十秒で魔力切れになるよ。着弾の瞬間に部分的に展開させるのが正解というわけですね。
That's
そう
cool.
だね。
It's like a parry in Dark Souls or something.
防御魔法の練習ばかりですね。生存率に直結するからね。確かに防御魔法
Yeah, you gotta learn defense before you can learn offense. Good defense is the best offense after all.
フェルン、渡した魔法師の本読んでないでしょ。魔法は実践だけが大事なわけじゃないんだよ。やっぱり寝る前に読み聞かせてあげないとダメか。
That's so funny.
自分で読みます。ここが目的の村ですね。また変な魔法の収集ですか？いや、今回
Yeah, her hesitancy to cross that line right there. Wonder what that's about.
もしやフ
あー
リーレン様ですかな。
なんで知ってるの？
クバールの封印場所ですよね。
Qual?
ご案内します。
クバール？
腐敗の堅牢クバール。
Oh shit.
80年前にこの地で悪逆
Oh
の
my
限
God.
りを尽くした魔族です。それを勇者ヒンメル様ご一行が封印してくださったのです。
Wow, that like
そ
aura
の
walk
封印
right
が
there?
近いうちに
Holy
解ける
shit.
から討伐しに来たんだけど、
What?
本当になんで知っているの？
30年ほど前までヒンメル様が毎年のように村に訪れてお
27
りました。
years.
封印の様子を確認するためだそうで。
相変わらずのお人
Aw,
よしだ。
he is a
フリーレ
softie.
ン様のこともお話ししておりました。様子も見に来ない白状者だ。冷たいよね。冷たいね。
Oh.
悪かったね。
でも村を見捨てるほど薄情ではない。封印が解ける頃にはやってくる。
See, he knows you. He knew you better than you thought anyone could know you, Frieren. Wow. A seal is literally just like sealed in
これが
stone. That's kind of crazy. I wonder how that works in terms of like consciousness. Is it also just kind of frozen? So if he wakes up right now, will it be like he's just continuing his march?
だ
Or
いぶ不安定になっているね。明日にでも封印を解いてクバールを片付けよう。
or has he been like able to observe and hear and, you know, be conscious this entire
フリーレ
time?
ン様はクバールを封印したのですよね。単純にクバールが強かったからだよ。勝てなかった。
Holy shit.
クバールは魔王軍の中でも屈指の魔法使いだ。ゾルトラーク。奴の開発した史上初の
The
貫通魔
Zoltraak.
法。
Oh, the impact
人
frames.
類の防御魔法はもちろん、装備の魔法耐性さえも貫通
Holy
し、
shit.
人体を直接破壊する魔法だ。この地方では冒険者の4割、
That is
魔
a
法使いに
deadly
至っては
spell.
7割がゾルトラークによって殺されたと言われている。
Shit.
そんなの強すぎるじゃないですか。
Yeah, Frieren, can you take him on?
強すぎた。強
Has
す
he
ぎたんだよ。
weakened over time?
だからこそ、その強さがあだになった。本当に魔法師読んでいないんだね。やっぱり聞かせ
The
る
way she's like,
今から
it's
読み
so
ます。
cute.
いや、いいよ。
Very
しっかり睡
motherly.
眠を取る方が大事だ。
The way his face is done, it's really reminding me of like a
油断し
Devilman
ないようにね。
kind of design, I guess. With the big eyes and the big mouth all smiling. Oh my god, he's immediately just moving. Couldn't you have like broken off a leg or something that was stone just to make this easier? It's a leg and an arm.
フリーレン。何年経った。
80年。
80 years, holy shit. Mere 80.
私たちにとってはね。
魔王様は。
殺した。
そうか。では、
Oh
敵
dear.
討ちと行こうかの。
フェルン、前方に防御魔法。
But it's gonna pierce through. Shit.
ほう、驚いた。ゾルトラークを防ぐとは。
Yeah, what's
随分、
And she's been teaching Fern this really powerful defensive spell. Ah, I like that. That's cool.
今のは一般攻撃魔法です。あれがゾルトラーク。奴が開発したいわゆる人を殺す魔法だよ。
Is that what Frieren has been using against you just to see if you can defend yourself? Holy shit.
お前の魔法は強すぎたんだ。
But that was 80 years ago.
お前が封印されてから大陸中の魔法使いがゾルトラークをこぞって研究解析した。
Wow, so he's actually just a nobody now.
ゾルトラークは人類の魔法
Wow, that's crazy.
新しい防御術式による強力な防御魔法が開発された。ゾルトラークは人を殺す魔法ではなくなった。
It's just magic. Holy
今では
shit.
一般攻撃魔法と呼ばれているよ。
He's like, I gotta think of something new right now.
人間にとって相当長い時間らしい。
That's an entire lifetime for most.
おとなしくしていれば楽に殺してやる。
Ah, you've already figured that out too. Oh,
防御魔法の弱点に気づかれた。ヘルン、対処できるよね。
last second. Oh my god.
練習でもういましたから。じゃあ
Oh, the music too. Holy shit. Oh. Wow. I love the difference in how the magic looks against everything else here. Wow. This has been drawn with so much love. Holy shit. Oh my god. Zeta Flare?
ゾルトラー
Oh, you're using his own spell? Wow, that's crazy. Holy shit. That's cold. That is cold. Oh my god. The framing is everything in this too. Like, look at that.
これで私たちも平穏に暮らせます。
ねえ、その帽子。
The straw hat?
こ
Shanks?
の地方はこの季節でも日差しが強いので農業のお
Luffy?
供ですよ。
どっかで見覚えあるんだ。
You've watched One Piece? She's actually Nakama?
私のスカート。
Oh my god. Never mind.
なーにやっとんじゃくそガキぶっ殺してやる。僕だって見たかったのに。
殺しはまずいぞ。
He's a child.
おかげでもっと長生きできそうです。
Aw.
ヒンメル様の言葉を信じて待った甲斐がありました。
It's really nice just seeing like still the effects
感
and
謝されていましたね。
the outcome of what they did 80 years ago still
この村の
being
人たちは
appreciated.
信じていたんだ。よくわかりませんが、ヒンメル様は
Himmel
フリ
did
ーレ
believe.
ン様を信じていたのだと思いますよ。
And that's why we love Himmel. Himmel's a great character and he's sadly gone.
どうしたのですか？別に。
That Straw Hat just said, did that kid die like already? What? Or is it just like a little... Actually, it was probably there when we entered the town. And so that was episode number 3 of Frieren. Another really beautiful, touching and heartfelt episode. I'm so enraptured and so in love with the story that is being told here. The world building, everything is just being done so intricately and so well done here. It's actually like... incredible just how much has been jam-packed into these 3 episodes. Already I feel like I know these characters, and that's kind of crazy. Like, and I feel like, you know, it did take me a while to warm up to some of the characters and learn a lot about them and, you know, understand who they are, their characteristics, everything like that. Just it took me a lot longer than 3 episodes for a series like that. But a series like Frieren, it's like immediate. You already know the characters. It's so strange how they've just managed to do that so quickly, and I really just give huge credits to everyone that has been able to produce this series in any format, whether it be in the manga or anime, because this is something special, and I can see that so clearly. And I know that I'm still in the prologue, I guess, because 4 episodes dropped in one day, and I'm only in episode 3, so I have one more episode to go before we are past the prologue to the series, and we're potentially into the series proper. But you know, this has been an absolute wild ride, and it's so fun learning all about these characters, learning about the world, and just seeing what has come of the world and the good that they've done and the things that have come about because of the things that they did, you know, like the good that has come out of it. And it's really, really fun to see sequences like that. You know, I'm skipping ahead, obviously, and I will go back and talk about the full episode, but that moment when Frieren woke Zoltraak, and, you know, obviously Fern was like scared. She was like, oh no, you're gonna wake him, but he's so powerful. And Frieren's just like, you didn't read that book, did you? And I'm just sitting there like, what has a book got to do with, like, a book about the history of magic got to do with killing or being able to defeat this guy? But it makes a lot of sense now, because in that book, it would obviously detail that because of the adventure that they went on and they were able to sail away, this guy, I'm saying this guy because I can't remember his name, I do deeply apologize, but this guy who was such a huge menace that he killed 40% of adventurers and 70%, I can't remember if it was 70% of mages or 70% of scholars. It was one of those two, I believe. And that is insane. In that region, of course, like, it's not in the world or anything, it's in that region. Those numbers are huge. That's bonkers. Like, those numbers are massive. Those statistics are actually crazy and very, very scary, that this guy was so powerful. And yeah, that's kind of what Frieren alludes to when she says, yeah, he was too powerful, so they sealed him away. They didn't have the means to defeat him there and then. But then we learn that after they sealed him, scholars researched his powers, researched everything about him essentially, and were able to turn his all-powerful magic, Zoltraak, which could kill anyone in no time at all. Defensive spells, defensive armors, magical armors, everything like that were no good against this guy and his new spell. So that moment where Fern is like, that's it? That's just a normal offensive attack. That was so kind of like funny and insane and just hugely rewarding to find out that the efforts that they went to all the way back 80 years ago have paid off to the point now where they have these defenses, they have ways to combat it, but it does have obviously a downside in the sense that it draws upon a huge pool of mana and it leaves you kind of weak. The fact that these defensive spells are so powerful, but the fact that Zoltraak is just any old spell now is actually kind of insane. That's what Fern was using all the way back in episode 1, right? That's what she used at the end of episode 1 when she tried to blast a hole through that rock. And she was a baby. She was so young. So honestly, like, that is so cool to see. It's almost like the reaping of the sowing of whatever that saying is, you know, of what they went through 80 years ago. We're seeing the outcome, we're seeing the results, we're seeing everything that has come of that. And yeah, that was such a cool moment. I really do love that so much, that we got that moment, because holy shit, I was worried for Frieren going into this. I was like, why didn't you cut off an arm and a leg or both arms or something? Because that way, you know, he's lost a lot of his magic and he can't really do much. But no, Frieren was like, we're gonna have a fair fight and it's gonna be over in no time at all. Fern, I've been training you for this. All you need to do is use defensive spells and I will handle the rest. And that was, yeah, it was a great showcase of the teamwork and showcase of just the way that the world has changed in those 80 years. Going back to the beginning of the episode, I think it was pretty funny that Frieren was going off to do something really, really nice for Fern. And I was like, yeah, this has to be Fern's birthday or something, and Frieren's going to do something. The face that she pulls, that Fern's like, yeah, she's up to something in secret. She's going to do something that she's keeping from me. I really think that that's a really funny mannerism that Frieren has, and the fact that Fern has noticed it, and she's been spending all this time with Frieren, obviously, so she gets to learn Frieren's mannerisms, Frieren's way of expressing those moments where she's trying to hide something. I think that that's a really cool insight into just how much Fern knows Frieren, and that plays a part later on in the episode, which I'll get to. But the fact that Fern didn't trust her was a little sad to see. I would have hoped that over time she would have come to trust her more, but I think that that was a really important aspect of this episode, that we got to see that side of Fern that didn't trust Frieren. And from here on out, I suspect that we will see that trust grow exponentially to the point where there's no more doubts. There's no more cast of shadow doubts, whatever. I'm really butchering what I'm trying to say here, across the rest of the series. Maybe there will be here and there, but I suspect that from here on out, Fern will have a great deal of trust for Frieren. Of course, Frieren had that moment where they were in the place for dessert, where Fern turned around and said, I can't remember the name of the dessert. Fern was like, oh, you're going to want this. And that gave Frieren this crazy flashback of Himmel saying the exact same thing. And I think that that's so cool, because I love that Himmel is kind of the catalyst for why Frieren wants to learn more about humans, wants to go on this journey right now that she's going on, the journey beyond Journey's End, essentially. And I love that Himmel was the catalyst for that, because she was so saddened by his death that she never got to learn him. And this was kind of a moment where she remembers being in a tavern with the party and basically saying, you know so much about me, but I know nothing about you. And Himmel says there's plenty of time to learn about me. And that obviously never really happened, sadly, but she was willing to learn, and she is willing to learn now. Maybe back then she wasn't so willing to learn. She just saw this as another 10-year adventure that didn't really mean a whole lot to her. But now she's seeing that through Fern, she can change the past. She can learn more. She can be more attentive. She can, have those moments where she does focus on learning about the human race and what they feel, what they like, who they are, what they want. She didn't have a clue what Fern would want, and that's why she was like, hey, you can choose anything from this. I don't know what you want. And Fern was like, I know exactly what you want, because Fern has taken that time to learn about Frieren, because time is important to Fern. And so because time is important, she is willing to learn and spend that time that she has learning. Whereas Frieren just sees it as like, I don't care, time isn't important to me, this isn't important, what is important is my magic, learning more magic and my spells and all of that good stuff. So now she is willing to learn about Fern, and I think that that's a really, really nice moment, because it mirrors what Himmel was. Himmel was the catalyst, but Fern is the subject, I guess you could say, of what Frieren has learned through Himmel. I realize I've gone on this tangent and kind of gone in circles for probably ages at this point, but I feel like I'm getting the point across already, so I'm gonna move on from that point. Then they go on their journey, and they end up back in this little place where they sealed away this crazy evil being that was working under the demon. Is it the Demon King or the Demon Lord? I'm not even sure what the terminology they use in the series is, but it's one of those two. Worked under him, and he was really powerful, and so because of that, they had to seal him away. They couldn't defeat him in that moment. They were struggling so hard that they literally couldn't beat him 80 years ago. So that's just a huge testament as to the power and the strength of this guy that they showed up to defeat because the seal was weakening. I think that those moments where Frieren was always getting in Fern's business, where she's like, you haven't read that book I gave you, have you? It was very motherly, it was very cute, it was very funny, and I really just want to see more of those moments. The relationship between Frieren and Fern is so endearing, and it's everything to me. It is so nice, it's so beautiful, and I love just seeing that play out. And the way Fern referred to Frieren as a big sister. It was just really funny. Or maybe she referred to herself as a big sister. I can't remember which way that was, but it was really funny. Frieren shows up then, obviously, to defeat this big evil mad, and does so easily because she has been training Fern for this moment to use defensive spells, so that all it takes is for Frieren to fly up in the air and cast this Zoltraak spell, this hugely powerful spell. I think it was really cold of her to use his spell against him, but you know what? That's what you get for being an asshole. You get a taste of your own medicine. You go out the way that you sent so many others out along the way more than 80 years ago. And yeah, I think that was so funny and so cool. I really love that so much, that that's what we did. We ended up just blasting his ass into nothingness, and then obviously the village townspeople were all very overjoyed and very happy and thanked Frieren. And then she had this moment where she was like, this straw hat, I recognize it. And it was very Nakama of her. She was like, yeah, I've watched One Piece. I know what this straw hat is. Obviously that is not what it was, but I think that is a really funny moment, and I wonder if that is a little, kind of reference to One Piece potentially. Maybe not, but it was a really cool moment where she had this memory of this child, and seeing then that those memories have lived on, and the good that they did 80 years ago has lived on through people like this child who has grown up and remembering and passing on these stories. I think it's very important, and I think it's a really beautiful scene and a really beautiful way to remember those moments, and the fact that those moments aren't just remembered by you, Frieren, they're remembered by all the people that were affected, all the people that thanked you guys along the way. And it was just a really touching episode, a really beautiful one, and I need to see how episode 4 wraps up this little prologue section. I suspect that those sour grapes that we learned about are gonna play a part. I was theorizing the sour grapes were gonna play a part, and this is kind of an insight into Frieren's memory. She remembered that the dwarf in their party loved grapes, and the more sour they are, the better. And so she went out of her way to learn a spell that would turn sweet grapes sour. And I think that is so nice to see that she hasn't forgotten, and that will potentially and probably play a part and show up in the future. And I think that is so touching, and I love seeing Frieren. I love learning more about her kind ways, and yeah, I just can't wait to check out episode number 4. I hope you guys are excited for next week, next Frieren Friday. These episodes are an absolute treat, an absolute treasure, and so joyful to check out. This is the first one that didn't make me tear up or cry, but it was beautiful nonetheless. And yeah, I have huge credit to the team at Madhouse, huge credit to the manga creator. This was beautiful. This is so great. And yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up here today. If there's anything I forgot to talk about, please talk about it in the comments below, and I'll share my thoughts on it. And yeah, please no spoilers also. I really don't want spoilers for anything, even episode numbers, nothing like that. I don't want to be spoiled on anything whatsoever, because I am so deeply in love with this series already. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for today. I hope that you guys are able to take it easy, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, I hope that you're having a great day, and that I will see you in the next one. Take care.